What's good, everybody? Chris here again. Chris Goes Outdoors, back with another video today. And we're recording this video while out on another trip. I actually just woke up, broke camp, and I'm about to head back to my car. But I get some questions here and there about what camera gear that I've been using. I've really been enjoying the videos I've been creating lately. I've been taking a lot of time just like chilling and like really enjoying the trail. I've really tried to make it feel like whoever's watching is like there with me. And hopefully that comes across, and if it doesn't, well, that's unfortunate. But anyways, we'll jump into it. I'll show you first right here. This is what I would be recording with if, say, it were raining. And it looks like it might today, so might be shooting some video with this later on. So I have the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So this one has the 3 cameras, the wide, kind of normal, and telephoto. And the biggest perk about this is that the stabilization's pretty good on it. And it's essentially waterproof, so using it out in the rain wouldn't be too big of a deal. I don't really care for the image quality that comes from it, and the audio is kind of rough too a lot of the times. Would it do for YouTube? Absolutely. There's people all the time there's people with millions of subs that still record on phones, and it's no problem. But for me, I just wanted something a little better picture quality, a little better audio quality, and that kind of started when I jumped into like the mirrorless DSLR camera, interchangeable lens cameras, microphones kind of situation. So this is pretty much just here as a backup, and it's great in rainy situations where the mirrorless camera we'll talk about momentarily is not waterproof. It is weather sealed, as they say, but I would prefer not to use it in like crazy downpour rains, just because it's a little pricey. So we'll give you a look at that camera, the lens I'm using right now, as well as the microphone I'm using on top, and the tripod. So you can see here, the camera that I'm using is the Sony A7C. I had been using the Sony A7 III for a little bit of time. I have traded in and gotten rid of my Panasonic GH5 that I used for a very long time. The main difference with this, besides being a different company, is this camera has a full frame sensor, which seems to work better in low light. There's some science behind that. I'm not going to go big into detail, but the most major upgrade, I think, for this camera is autofocus that you pretty much don't really need to think much about. Pretty much if I aim at something, I'd say 95% of the time what I want in focus is actually in focus. So if you look, I'm probably in focus right now. No problem. I'll jump out of frame, back in frame, and it just finds you and it knows what needs to be in focus. The Panasonic system I used before, that was just pretty much impossible. It just did not work reliably. And having this new kind of reliable autofocus lets me get some shots that would have been significantly more difficult as a one-man show kind of thing with the Panasonic GH5. So the A7C's been great. Records 4K 24. I usually just shoot in the standard profile, 8-bit, nothing crazy. I shoot 4K 24, and then some of the slow motion stuff, I just do 1080p 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second. But the camera is exceptionally light, which is fantastic because I'm usually carrying it around on this tripod that we can take a look at right now. So that right there is the Peak Designs travel tripod. It has a very excellent little head right there that you can easily maneuver around one-handed and then just tighten it back up with the little ring there. So it's great when you're walking down the trail, have a trekking pole in one hand, you can just kind of move it around and do your thing. The legs claps nice and easy, just fold up really, really simply, and then you can shorten the height as you need it, or raise it to the height you need. I'm about 6 feet tall, and this thing is just a couple inches lower than me, so which is great. And the weight for a travel tripod is fantastic. It is very expensive though, like stupidly expensive almost, but as someone that really enjoys this stuff and was looking for something light as possible, it seemed like a painful but necessary purchase. And then for the microphone, we are using the Sony ECM B1M microphone. The thing that's great about this is most microphones have to plug into a headphone jack, which on this camera is right there. However, this new Sony microphone, everything just connects through the little hot shoe right here. So there's no cable necessary, and that is fantastic for someone that's walking around in the woods all the time smacking into things. I definitely do not want to break the microphone jack on the camera. And having this microphone, again, while a bit expensive, I think the audio quality is fantastic. And the other cool thing is, I'll show you on the back side of here. So I can change it from like a shotgun pattern, so it'll pick up only what's in front. I can change it to a pattern that'll pick up kind of what's in the general area around, or I can change it to a pickup pattern that will pick up 360 audio from all around the camera. Also lets you adjust the audio levels from the microphone itself. So if you're ever peaking, the audio is too loud and stuff, you can change that really easily. That's pretty much the only functions on that I use. It does have some filter options, but I do not really use them. I just would rather do that after the fact in post-production. But so far, I kind of dig the mic. It's a little noisier in that if I'm moving the camera a lot, so it's got a little shock absorber in there to kind of keep the mic from rattling. The Rode mic I had before is better at that, but where I'm shooting a lot of stuff mounted on tripods now, like this thing's been pretty spectacular. Currently on the camera, I'm using the Tamron 17-28 f2.8. This is a great budget wide-angle lens compared to some of the other options for the Sony E-mount system. It's super compact, has great image quality as far as I'm concerned. This lens I think I paid $750 for, brand new. And then on the front there, we have the K&F Concepts Variable ND filter. Easiest way to explain this is sunglasses for your camera. So if you're trying to shoot at a certain shutter speed, recording video, a lot of times it will be too bright outside and you need to reduce the amount of light coming into the camera. And this allows you to do that. And it allows you to change how much light is coming in depending on which way you turn it. These have been pretty good for me. I haven't noticed too much in image degradation. You do get some like strange polarized patterns sometimes, but I don't think 99.999% of people will ever notice that. And yeah, they've been good and they're cheap. I think they were 20 or 30 bucks a piece. I don't know, I can't quite get myself to spend like $200 on a piece of glass that goes in front of my already expensive lens. So, and now we're back to the Sony camera. The phone I keep in my little shoulder pocket right here, and then I've been carrying this lately, which has been really cool. I like it a lot. This is the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Versa. So it's technically their fanny pack, but you can just string it through the back for your chest strap and then use it as a chest pouch. So in here I usually keep a snack or two in the front, and then within here I keep a couple camera related things. First one is a blower. It allows you to get dust off the front of your lens, also dust off of the sensor that's inside of the camera. If you have dust on the sensor inside of the camera, which maybe I do on this video, you'll see little spots where like there's like a dust mark or a dust mark or a dust mark. So it's always good to double check if you're ever changing the lens before you go out to record. Blow off your sensor. And then I usually keep in here too a little lens brush. So this just lets you wipe off some of the crud that might be on the lens. I also keep a little fiber cloth like this, so if I ever accidentally press, say, the front element or the little filter that's on there, I can just wipe that off with this cloth. And then last but not least, for lenses, this is probably one of my favorite lenses for the Sony system. This is the Sony 24-105 f4, and it's so good. It has built-in stabilization. The 24-105 with the constant f4 aperture is just so good for video. The built-in stabilization is great too if you're ever trying to handhold while you're shooting. Helps immensely get rid of the camera shake. The actual Sony a7C has built-in stabilization to the body, and it works okay at best. The actual stabilization that's usually built in with these lenses works significantly better, at least in my experience. And on this also, I do have another K&F Concepts variable ND filter. And yeah, this is kind of like a workhorse of a lens. I at one point tested out the 24-70 Sony GM lens, and for the most part, I would actually rather have this on my camera. I really like it that much. The Sony 24-70, the G Master, significantly more expensive. A little bit sharper, you know, but I feel like most people aren't gonna notice that at all. And I just like having that extended reach also of this lens, and yeah, it's been good. And then in my hip belt pocket down here, I just have a little Cuban fiber stuff sack where I keep my extra batteries for the camera around. I usually bring 4 of them out on a trip, and I go through them very easily. A lot of times I'll have to recharge them too. I have a dual USB battery charger that I keep with my electronics bag, and then I also will carry some spare SD cards as well. And I'm so far extremely happy with this setup. It's heavy, of course, because it's a lot of stuff, you know, but I really have enjoyed the quality of video that I'm able to get out of it. The reliability so far has been phenomenal. The image quality is just so good. I feel like it's kind of helped in the newish direction I've been going with the videos, just trying to make people immersed in the experience, if you will. Anything that helps me get my job done out here while I'm hiking X amount of miles over crazy elevation, anything that makes my job easier is like a godsend. And this camera, lens, microphone, the tripod, everything combined just makes me filming out here that much more easy compared to my old Panasonic gear. Plan on sticking with this system for at least a little bit. I don't know, I try new camera gear literally all the time. All the time I'm trying new stuff. I should probably just make like a photo and video channel at some point just to like mess around with more lenses. But anyways, that's gonna do it. Hope the video was helpful, and if it wasn't, whatever, sorry. Subscribe if you want, don't really care, it doesn't matter to me. Whatever floats your boat. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, people. Adios.